What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, I am MLB Chatterbox, aka Christian Corey, and you see the title and the thumbnail in today's video. We are going to talk about where the Blue Jays should play in 2020. Some bad news out of Toronto. First, I want to address one thing, and that is the lights. I got new lights, the official YouTube lights, I guess you would call it. I think the lighting's better. There's no more shadows. And please let me know what you think of it, and drop a comment in the comment section below and tell me if it's better. Is it worse? Do you like the old lights better? I was using Workman's floodlights, but now I get the official YouTube light, so hopefully it's better. And yeah, I think it's better. I really do think it's better. Let me know. Please let me know what you think of it. And yeah, we're going to jump right into it. So, obviously, the Toronto Blue Jays have been denied of playing in Toronto in 2020. The Canadian government said no for them playing in Toronto in the 2020 season and in their home ballpark of the Rogers Center. So it kind of sucks for the Blue Jays. It was just kind of sucked. You know, like when it happened, it couldn't have happened at a worse time. I mean, really, the Canadian government, I guess, you know, worrying about where their professional sports teams are going to play was not on the top of their list. But still, I felt once, you know, the MLB said, yes, we're going to play in 2020, either the MLB or the Canadian government, they should have came together in a meeting and they had a kumbaya and said, okay guys, what's going to happen with the Blue Jays in 2020? I mean, I felt like the Canadian government was kind of like knew they were going to shut down the border and have those restrictions, whether the United States did it or Canada did it. I felt like that was inevitable. It was going to happen one way or the other. Whoever, you know, mandated that, whether it was, like I said, the U.S. or Canada, when it comes to travel restrictions. And they should have been like, okay, every team we play is from the United States, whether it's, you know, baseball, football, hockey, soccer, don't matter. We play 95% of our teams are from the United States, especially baseball. 100% of the teams they play is from the United States. So, to me, it was kind of like, really?
You gotta be raping me!
But they're not playing in Toronto in 2020, but I am here to give my top four places and locations of where the Blue Jays should play in 2020. So let's get right into it with number 4. Number 4 on my list would be Buffalo. Yes, Buffalo. It is their AAA affiliate, home to the Buffalo Bisons. Now, you heard me talk about Buffalo being a good suggestion for the Blue Jays in 2020. And you're probably wondering, why is it number 4 on my list of 4? Probably just because, I'm telling you why, it's the facilities. The facilities play a major role and factor when it comes to where the Blue Jays will play in 2020. Now, in my last video, you probably saw I was kind of high on them playing in Buffalo. I didn't think it was a bad suggestion. I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world. You know, I thought it made sense, but now I'm looking at it more, it doesn't make as much sense as what I initially thought. Initially, I thought, okay, they picked Buffalo, was close to the Canadian border and the United States border. You know, if the United States, let's say miraculously, like I said in my last video, opened up our border, or not even opened up the border, but just allowed fans to attend professional sports again, or professional sports events, and Canada didn't, I mean, I guess they could if they really wanted to, but they probably wouldn't do this. The fans in Canada could drive down through Buffalo and watch the Blue Jays game if they really wanted to, but that's only if they could and if the United States allowed fans to attend professional sporting events again, and I highly doubt that's going to be the case for at least 2020. So that's why I was pretty high on it first, but now looking at it, it's like, okay, they're close to Canada, but it's not going to matter because they're on TV anyways. And also the facilities. Now, I don't know what a AAA facilities look like. I've never been to a AAA stadium or seen their weight room or seen their kitchen if they have one. I don't know. I assume it's not as nice and not as top notch as a Major League Baseball stadium would be, or Major League Baseball facility would be. So I'm not thinking it's the best place, when it comes to facilities and, a kitchen and a weight room and stuff like that, and the necessities of being a Major League Baseball player. And I know it's 2020. I'm sure it's really, really nice as it is. I'm sure, they're every Major League team is really pushing and trying to get these minor leaguers the best possible environment to succeed, and I'm sure it's extremely nice, better than a regular gym, I assume, but I'm sure it's not as nice as a Major League Baseball stadium and facility would offer. So I feel like that's a big factor, how the weight room's going to be. Also, they're going to have to stay there. So, they don't have backfields in a minor league stadium. Not like they need it, but I guess that'd be kind of nice. They don't have that. And really, why it's number 4 is just because of the facilities, and they got to stay there. And it's a small city, I'm sure they're going to, set them up in a really nice hotel, but if they're playing in Buffalo, I've never been to Buffalo, but I know like Toledo, I'm sure Toledo is not like Detroit when it comes to hotels and, places to go. They can't go anywhere anyways, so it's not going to matter what kind of restaurants they got. But I don't think Buffalo is a good place for the Blue Jays. That would be number 4 on my list because of the facilities and what they offer, and I'm sure they don't have a kitchen like I mentioned. So that's why it's number 4. I just think what they have in a AAA facility is not Major League ready, or is in Major League shape, I guess you could call it. That's why Buffalo is number 4 on my list. So, number 3 on my list of where the Blue Jays could play in 2020 would be their spring training facility in Dunedin, Florida. Now you're probably thinking, why is it number 3? Well, because I think I got a better number 2 and a number 1. It's number 3 because there's a major factor when it comes to spring training facility, and that's kind of why I put it at number 4. But let's talk about the positives of a Major League spring training facility, which the Blue Jays have in Dunedin, Florida. Now, they got the weight room. I know in Tiger Town they got a great weight room. I've seen pictures of it, and I'm sure the Toronto Blue Jays facilities is just as good. They got backfields, which is a plus. They got the weight room, and they got the gyms, which I mentioned, and I'm sure they got great cooks, great kitchens. They got multiple bullpen mounds. When it comes to pitchers pitching, don't just have to use 2. When it comes to if they want to practice and pitchers want to practice, they can have them play on multiple different mounds and pitch from multiple different mounds and play catch on multiple different mounds. Guys can be more spread out in Dunedin because they got the backfields, and they can be spread out. I'm sure that they won't even be 6 feet next to each other. They'll probably be 10 feet away from each other, and that'll be just the norm because they have so many different facilities, and there won't be as much guys in camp if they do play a regular season in Dunedin. So I think the spring training facilities is a good choice. Now, I do think that is where they're going to end up realistically. However, the only downfall of playing in a spring training facility, particularly in Florida, is the weather. Now, the weather in Florida is always hot, you know it, but it's the rain. It's the heat and the rain, and MLB cannot afford to have rainouts regardless of what team it is, whether it's the Blue Jays or it's the Diamondbacks, which they will never have a rainout, but it wouldn't matter because it can't happen. Rainouts cannot happen in 2020, and if they play outdoors in Florida, they will most likely have a rainout every week. I'm just saying, probably twice a week, because it's just the nature of Florida. They got 2 Florida teams, but both Florida teams have an enclosed stadium. The Rays and the Marlins, they have the option of opening it, and of course the Rays do not because they play in the dump. But you know, that's the downfall of playing in Dunedin. It's just what it is. It's the downfall of playing in Dunedin is the weather and the heat, mainly the rain. I think the rain plays a bigger role than the heat because you know they can play in Arizona. I mean, players can withstand heat. I mean, you can fight the heat, but you can't fight the rain. That sounds crazy, but you can. You just can't fight the rain. Thunderstorms and lightning, that's not gonna work either. So, I think that it would work if they played in Arizona. If they had a spring training facility in Arizona, it would work. Now, that's why Dunedin is my number 3. Now, my number 2, I thought of this yesterday. It's an interesting one. You might like it. Arlington, the old Rangers Stadium. Now, the Texas Rangers just moved out of whatever Globe Life Field or whatever it was called into Globe Life Park or vice versa. They just moved into a brand new stadium, and their old one's still up. Now I thought, you know, they could play in in an old ballpark. Just got to find one. I'm thinking, okay, maybe you know in Atlanta, but maybe too old. But I saw, oh yeah, the Rangers just moved. They could play in the ballpark in Arlington. Because I'm sure it's equipped. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's, you know, it's nice still. I mean, the seats won't matter. What the inside looks like, and the concessions and what the stands look like is not going to matter because those will be in the stands anyways. As long as the field's in good condition and major league ready condition, I'm sure they can do that in a day. Because they got great people working for Major League Baseball and the grounds crew. They do a great job all over the place. I think that would be a good place for them. I know the heat, but again, you can fight the heat, but you can't fight the rain, and it's not going to rain in Texas in the summer. I'm telling you, it's not going to rain. So, their Texas, the old Rangers ballpark, is open, but again, it's not going to rain, and you can withstand the heat. I would say Texas would be my number 2. I would play in Texas, and I'm sure it's going to bring back bad memories for the Toronto Blue Jays, faithful with the Rudy Odor and the punch of Jose Bautista. Joey Bats got punched in the face. But you know what? You gotta let bygones be bygones. And you know what? I'm sure they'll be happy to play in Texas in 2020 just for a season. I think the old Rangers ballpark would be a great number 2. Now, let's go to number 1. Number 1. What's number 1? You're probably thinking, well, what's number 1? Well, number 1 is a cookie cutter. A cookie cutter? Yes, the old cookie cutter ballparks. The football/baseball ballparks. Yes. I think the old football/baseball ballparks would work. I think they can make it work. Whether they play, I'm thinking more in Florida because I know the Buccaneers. I don't know football a lot, but I think the Buccaneers stadium is outdoors, and the Miami Dolphins won the brand new one they just had in the Super Bowl last year. That's enclosed. That has a dome. Now they've had it before. I mean, in the 80s they tried that out, and I think the 70s. Sorry, the 70s they had the cookie cutter stadiums. They had it in Cincinnati. They had it in Pittsburgh, famous Astrodome. They had it in Philadelphia. All those cookie cutter ballparks, they've had them before. Major League Baseball has dealt with them before. They know how to. I'm sure they know what goes into getting those stadiums ready and equipped for a Major League Baseball game. I would say do it where the Dolphins play. I forgot the name of the stadium, but let's do it where the Dolphins play in Miami. It's enclosed. They got a roof. I'm sure they can make it work. I'm sure if they hit a ball pops up in the air, I don't think it will hit anything. I'm sure the roof, is in great condition. I'm sure it's high enough when it comes to pop-ups and everything. I know even in Tampa Bay, on Tropicana Field, they hit the catwalk sometimes, and this is just a ground rule double. So I think they can make it work in Florida. When it comes to the cookie cutters stadiums, and yeah, I think the cookie cutter stadiums or the football/baseball stadiums can work whether they play in Florida or they play in Arizona. It's going to be enclosed anyway, so I guess it's not going to matter where they play. I mean, if they can't find one in Florida, I'm sure they can find one in Arizona. They can even find one in California if they want. Now, I just thought of the Miami Dolphins just because that comes to memory, and they have an enclosed stadium. I'm not sure if a college football stadium has that, because if college football is not happening in 2020, then they could use the college football stadiums if that is enclosed in Florida. They probably wouldn't need it enclosed in Arizona if they had a football stadium in Arizona they could use. But, you know, that's just my kind of fun suggestion. I think that would work. The cookie cutter stadiums could work. Bring those back in 2020. I think if Rob Manfred did that, he would be a genius, and I should get all the credit. So, yes, I think the cookie cutter stadiums would work for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's my number one. So, quick recap: Buffalo, number 4; Dunedin, their spring training facility, number 3; Arlington, the ballpark in Arlington, number 2; and a cookie cutter stadium, whether it's in Arizona or Florida, would be my number 1 place for the new home with the Toronto Blue Jays in 2020, the Toronto/Miami Blue Jays in 2020. But yeah, guys, leave a like on the video if you like my suggestions for where the Blue Jays could play in 2020 and where they will call home for the 2020 season. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm at 111 subscribers. Let's get to 115. I'm uploading this tomorrow, so when I upload this tomorrow, I want to see 115 subs. So leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you want to ring the bell too. Ring the bell's cool. So yeah, I'll catch you later.